Okay, we're going to start on part 3 of this. This is Princess. And Princess, you spoke about music therapy and surgery. A couple of points. Smile when you tell the harp story. It's a funny story. It helps the audience know that you're being light and you want them to see this as funny. And so it helps if you smile a little bit too. Cite your sources when you give facts. Work to be more conversational when you speak. Talk to me, not at me. Smile. This is a pleasant, hopeful topic, and it was very well done with your PowerPoints. And again, it's that source thing when you're actually speaking. Sources, sources, sources. This your outlines were excellent, and this was a very, very informative speech. So nice job, and way to go. Let's see. Next up is Grizz, and Grizz talked about St. Andrews. You had absolutely the wrong camera shot. I can't see your face or even tell if your eyes are open. Lots of facts, no sources. You're just reciting a collection of facts in this speech. What was your visual aid? You can't give any other speeches that even relate to golf. You must follow the directions that are posted with the speeches, and you want to be careful about concluding your speeches with a thank you. Your sources must be cited within your speech, not collectively at the end of the speech. Every time you have a major fact, that's where the source goes. Don't tell me at the end of the speech, I got this information from the following sources. Okay? Crucial. Got to do it. Make sure it's obvious. All right, next up is Raider. And Raider, you talked about obesity. And you seem somewhat bored by your own speech. Get some energy, both in your attitude and in your voice. You are reading far too much of your speech. Make sure that you get away from that. Talk from bullet points. All right, you're showing no passion whatsoever. You need to cite your sources as you mention them. You mention a fact, cite the source. Slow down just a bit. And also, what is your credibility in this speech? You have some facts in here that someone's watching 2 to 6 hours of TV a day. I can buy that. However, you don't cite a source for it. So I will assume you made that up, and I'm not going to buy it if you made it up because I want it from a credible source. Don't laugh about obesity, commercials. Don't laugh about obesity. You had some things there, you were a little laughy there. And you talked about commercials that has. Watch your grammar when you're speaking. Next up is, let me grab this here. Next up is Glitter. Glitter, you talked about bipolar. Excellent speech. Wow. Way to go. You pretty much nailed it all. Cite your sources when you're giving the facts. Your content and your delivery overrode any other problems that you had with this speech. Catch what I said. Content and delivery overrode some other problems. Again, way to go. Excellent, informative speech, delivered with great compassion. It was conversational, and it was delivered from the heart. I mean, you get to your audience when you're conversational. It's just very well done. Watch the ahs and ums, little slight tisk on occasion. In your speech, you said the video author was Jennifer Buell, and the family has gone through, and an excellent, excellent ending. This is about as good as it gets. So Glitter, very, very well done. Next up is Nevermind. You spoke about French Lick. Also, 2 speeches on French Lick. You are still sitting. That is not allowed. I will not allow it in your final speech. You only can sit if you have an ADA reason you have to sit. I must have a copy of the ADA reasons on file in this class. I've said that from day one. Please learn to follow directions. You sound like you're reading. There aren't enough sources. The outlines are not properly formatted. I can barely hear you over some room noise. You appear to be reading off the cards. And please don't laugh when you're speaking. It's like you're in on something that the audience doesn't know about. And you kind of gave the wrong audience intro. That's, I don't know, just lots of problems. Please correct them. Let me check the name on this one to make sure I get it right. Get the fantasy name right. This will be Maturity. Maturity, you spoke about Dan Flavin, Light Sculptor. And what is your credibility on this topic? This speech was very disconnected with no flow. You didn't label your outlines. You have no sources cited in your speech or your outlines. There's no energy. There's no flow. You didn't tell a story. You didn't. You weren't conversational in what you were doing. There were too many sighs in what you're doing, and you can't do that. And you died. You died at the very end of your speech. You had too many uhs and ums. There was inappropriate laughing during the speech. And you said something like, "Hi, I'm going to be telling you guys." That's just a little bit too casual for a speech situation. Don't refer to me as you guys. Next up is Ninja, and you talked about knights. You are in a very noisy room. What is your credibility in this speech? Establish what the purpose of the speech is, too. Why are you giving this speech? Interesting speech. I was too distracted by the room noise. I can barely hear you. You didn't send a copy of your visuals. Your speech was disconnected. Kind of part one, part two, done. Tie it together. Don't give me section, done. All right. Good source citation. Your facial expression suggests a little bit of terror in your speech. All right. Next up is Egied, E-G-I-E-D. You spoke about the Civil Air Patrol. All right. Do not pan back and forth when you're giving a speech from you to the PowerPoints. You only sent one outline. There was no flow to the speech. There were no sources cited in the speech. You keep saying we. What is your credibility in this? Establish it. Get it up front. Knowing later that you've been involved in this is not good. We need to get that right up front. And in depth, not a subtle about what part you have in the Civil Air Patrol. Watch the ahs and the ums. Why didn't you control the slides so you didn't have to say change, that kind of thing? And you just jumped out at the end of your speech, kind of like, boom, I'm gone. And it was like, no more slides, I'm done. You want to make sure that your speech makes sense. This is also a long speech, so please watch the length of these things. You had a lot of problems with a lot of things in this speech that you need to fix, and make sure that you do that and get that taken care of. All right, just real quick, there are 410 points left in this class. If you look on Blackboard, you will see that all of the scores are up to date on everything that we have so far. You have 40 points left on the discussion board. You have 2 more speeches, the persuasive speech and the special occasion speech, and you have a 20-point exam. So 40 points for the discussion boards, 350 points for the speeches, and 20 points for the exams, 410 points left in this class. Back to the discussion boards. Please read the directions on the discussion boards. Please read them in depth. When it asks you to do something, make sure you cover every point that it asks you to do. And if it says go back and comment on somebody else, and it even tells you what to say about what somebody else has said. You've got to do all of that. Some of you are leaving points on the table because simply you're not following directions. You hear a theme in some of the things I'm saying? You know, we're wrapping up the course, and there's still the same kinds of mistakes being made today that were made on day one, and we've talked about it. You must look at these videos to the end. I know some of you don't, because I have a count on who has looked at the videos. Okay? If you have any questions whatsoever, you want any consultation before you do your next speech, call me in my office. Talk to me. I will be more than happy to go over. If it's a toll call, use the toll-free number. Okay? Many of you are well on your way to doing quite well in this course. My guess is that unless you're one of those people that hasn't sent an ID, you're all going to get a passing grade in this course. And remember, a passing grade is a D. So don't go for the D. Go for a C or higher. Some of you are going to get A's. I know already you're going to get A's because of the way you perform in this class. So that's all I have to say to you. I will be sending out the Excel spreadsheet. It'll show you how you're doing in the class compared to everybody else in the class. That'll be listed by your fantasy names. All right? Good luck on your persuasive speech. Boy, take a look at some of those topics. Some of the topics you've sent in so far, you know, pick something you're passionate about. Be passionate in your speech. Be factual. I don't want to know how you feel about it. I want facts, and I want facts and figures that you can support with sources cited. All right? Have fun. Don't get overheated in all this heat, and we'll talk to you after the next time. Have a good one. Bye.